into game number 2 here. The map is Sylphid, and up at 12 o'clock, we have our Hungarian Zerg player, Sziky. In the left middle side, none other than Dewalt. Of course, this was Sziky's map choice here on Sylphid. I'm interested that he wanted to play this map. I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, I've seen a lot of Zerg vs. Protoss games here. Maybe the gas expansion going to be a little bit harder to get out there and take. Maybe it's the flat ground. Not entirely sure, but we'll see what Sziky's plan is. Maybe he's just very comfortable on this map. But yeah, like I was saying before, you know, I felt before the tournament started like Sziky would be the favorite. Now I'm not entirely sure. Like, Dewalt looking so incredibly clean that last game for sure. And, you know, he had a tough group as well, don't forget, right? He had Hawk in his group, who's the second best non-Korean Zerg. And, I mean, Hawk put out some good games, but Dewalt definitely did look superior. So we know that his PvZ is definitely up to par. Sziky, you know, I guess, you know, we did see some good games out of him as well against Protoss. Like, Jaeyoon gave him some very long games, but he did seem to be in control for the most part during those games. But of course, another thing to note is that the previous match history from some of these top guys, Sziky oftentimes in BSL ends up losing to some of the Protoss players. You know, Bonneth and Dewalt, I think, are generally the players that will end up defeating him. Definitely, he doesn't lose to any Terran players in the BSL tournaments. He's got a stellar record there. Actually, to be fair, like maybe 4 seasons ago, Gypsy actually did beat him, if I'm recalling correctly. But, you know, other than that, he, like, more recently, he's done very well against, like, Mihu and things like that. So, anyways, we'll see. Now, this is a pool first. Of course, Dewalt scouted it very quickly. I'm kind of gliding over it as I set up the story between these two, but getting the double cannon to make sure nothing happens. With the Overlord seeing that, no reason to send the Zerglings. You can just attack the probe. And Dewalt's going to go ahead and get his own Nexus up. Sziky going for his hatchery at his natural there. Sending out another drone, so he will be going for a third base. No big surprises here. The probe is pretty darn low right now. Only 1 health left as it regens its shields. And don't forget, you do need to kind of keep some intel out on the map. If Dewalt doesn't know what's coming, it's like incredibly hard to stop what could be coming in, right? So like, if he doesn't get something else out there to scout, and it'll probably be this probe that he tries to do it with, then you could just go for something like a 3-hatch Hydra. And how is your opponent going to know that they need 4 or 5 cannons? You know, it's that's the tough thing. So he's getting this probe out. I think Sziky will block here. Probably keep a few lings here just to make sure the probe can't get in, then chase the probe with the other lings. So you're at least still making it hard for Dewalt to know what's going on. Very likely that Dewalt will make some Zealots here and try to push out with those as well for that scouting intel. Now the probe coming down. Gonna scout that 3rd hatch, so that's some good intel as well. Probe just still kind of meandering about. He's got to do the loops. He's got to keep going back and trying to spot whether anything is fishy. Sziky, nothing fishy here though, right? He's just going up to his lair, which is kind of as you would expect. That's more of a macro opener. We'll see if he ends up going Spire. It looks very likely like he will. The fact that he's going for that Zergling speed. A lot of times when we see the Zergling speed, it does end up with Mutalisks. Whether that's Mutalisks right away or possibly force Scourge into Mutalisks just to push back the Corsairs. But the Stargate goes down. I think we already have a trap probe there. I feel like that isn't when you would want to trap that. You know, normally what happens is when you start getting multiple Corsairs, you put it behind the minerals and just make a pylon and trap it back here. Instead, he builds the Stargate, and it looks like that probe is trapped for... So he'll use that for the grouping, but kind of early to lose that. So I would call that a little bit of a mistake there from Dewalt. Most likely. Oh, never mind. It wasn't trapped. Oh, never mind. If those were Terran buildings, I guarantee you that would be trapped. All right, Citadel coming up. And, yeah, there is the Spire. Couple Zealots, 3 Zealots now coming out. Notice how he's blindly made a 3rd cannon here, just to be safe. He sees that Zergling speed is done, and he walks back with his Zealots, because this is scary. If there's a ton of Speedlings behind this, and you try to walk out with the 3 Zealots, you will probably end up dying. Right now, by the way, a second gas is being taken, so that really points us once again towards Mutalisk production. We'll probably see +1 Flyer Carapace when this finishes, as well as 4 Scourge. And he'll probably utilize that just to kind of keep the Corsairs back and then go into Mutas. That's my guess here for Sziky. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be that, but when I see his second gas this quickly, when they already have Zergling speed, that is oftentimes what it turns out to be. Well, it looks like it's going to be 5 Mutas right off the bat, as opposed to the 4 Scourge into the 5 Mutas. And this, in this particular case, this is probably better. Like, Dewalt has not even started +1 air attacks. So, like, he doesn't even want to play the Corsair game. He wants to go heavier ground. You can see he's already got the 3 gates, which is a little bit uncommon. Sending some of the Zealots out at this point. 1 runs back as it gets surrounded. But the 5 Mutas are going to be popping. And 5 Mutas, first off, obviously they can kill Zealots, but also 5 Mutas one-shot probes. So this gives you a real set of units that can actually go in and harass your opponent, right? So, like, you can chase the Corsair away with the Scourge and just target down probes very, very quickly with those Mutalisks. So let's watch these as they fly in. Now, there is a cannon here. Another 2 cannons on the way. Dewalt very good with his cannons. Pulls back a hurt Muta immediately, so... Very, very good dodging there. And look at this. The Corsair comes in. Tries to get on top of it right there. Scourge going up for the hit. He actually hits one. The other one turns around. And he has done a lot of damage to these Corsairs. But the Muta's getting pretty low. He had 6 Mutas total, I believe, at the beginning of this. We're down to 4. And they're in the purple. That one very hurt Corsair does get healed up. Long life, lively life, thanks to shield battery. Some more cannons going down. Very good defense overall. Doesn't look like Sziky really took a lot of damage anywhere during that, by the way. He is switching over towards the Hydralisks. Well, it looks like that because he's getting Hydra speed, but we actually see more Mutas hatch. So I guess we're going to see if Sziky can do what Hawk was unable to do, and that's make those Mutas work against Dewalt, who has shown phenomenal defense against Mutalisks, even without the masked Corsairs that so many pros like to use. Excuse me. Now the Muta's coming in. They go after this. A single cannon. Oh, man. This is really bad for Dewalt right now. Gonna get on top of those Corsairs. Look at this. The Archon having a hard time getting in. Oh, the Archon cannot reach those Mutas. The gateway placement, it looked kind of cute before, but now costing him a bit. This is a real problem right now. The 2 Corsairs come up, try to get some damage onto those Mutas. But the Mutas, there's so many of them here comparatively. Lots of damage pushing them back. By the way, one thing I want to mention, it's almost like a gentleman's game. He didn't get +1 air attack. He did start it afterwards, but didn't get it early like we see most players do. And then for Sziky, he never got +1 Flyer Carapace, which is very uncommon when you go Mutas. You almost always get it. I can't remember a pro game where I didn't see them go for that +1 Flyer Carapace when they were opening Mutalisks. But anyways, everyone has their own style. That's the beauty of StarCraft 1. Now the Zealot Archon tried to come out to pressure. Plenty of Sunkens being made. Really, I like the building placement as well. We'll talk about more of that in a moment. The Muta's still doing good harassment damage. He's ending up losing a lot of them. But honestly, 33 probes is very, very low. Dewalt is still macroing off of only 3 gateways. That's very low, guys. At this point, normally you want 8 gateways for Protoss. He's got 3. Very, very strange situation here for him. A lot of Hydras coming out. Dewalt's army absolutely does not beat this amount of Hydras. Definitely liking Sziky's position. Well, if you push him against the cannons, maybe you can do better. He can't micro back because he'll hit the cannons at this point. Oh, that's insane. Very good pincer attack there, utilizing the wall, and does kill off a lot more Hydras than he probably should have gotten. Now the Hydra's coming forward, targeting down the Archon pretty quickly. It actually stays alive. He didn't target it all the way. There he goes. Gets rid of it. Zealot's pushed back now. Dewalt making wine out of water here. Really fantastically done on that defense. Like, that group of Hydras could have absolutely destroyed them on open ground, but getting them right when they were out of position for like a half second. I think I saw Sziky realize too, where it was like, oh crap, like I can't micro back against this at all. Now in the meantime, the Corsair is still flying around trying to do a little bit of damage. We see a slight supply block here for Sziky. Looks like he got a couple Overlords up there. Plenty of Psy Storms, Robo on the way, adding more gates. What a strange game we have here, honestly. Like, a lot of money was put in those mutas, but they did do a lot of damage. And now it's like, well, Dewalt has good upgrades. Like, he has 1-1, he has +2 on the way. He has Psy Storm. But his gateway count is very, very low. So he can't quite field the army he needs to really go out and maybe bust a base. But you know what? He's continuing to tech up. Like, he's going to have his observers relatively soon here. Maybe even grab a shuttle. I feel like a shuttle could be really fantastic here. He's done such a good job of patrolling with the Corsairs. There's no Overlords in sight. So, like, if you can drop a single DT in here... excuse me, it's amazing. In fact, we see him making a single DT. So, I think that's what that's for. Since there is a shuttle that can be made, like, right now. I bet you we'll see a shuttle. Would love to see him try to DT drop into that main base. Now, the Corsair is still flying around. Obviously, there is Overlord speed at this point. So he will be able to eventually defend it, but sometimes you just don't even hear about the DT in that main base as well. Now, I keep saying that, but it looks like he's waiting for the observatory to finish, so we're not going to see a shuttle being made. Lots of Dragoons coming out, though. Mutas coming out once again as well. This is a nice tech switch back into Mutalisks. You know there's like barely any Corsairs left. They're very low health. And now you might be able to actually pick off some High Templars. Like, look, that is a 2-storm High Templar right there. Absolutely can fly in and kill it. There's only a few Corsairs. Ooh, that was actually a pretty darn good storm. He will end up killing a couple. Gonna get a third. But was this too expensive? 10 mutas for 3 High Templars. Well, you're giving up more money-wise with the 8 mutas that you lost than 2 that are now useless. But you do have an additional gas over your opponent. You have a bigger economy overall. And really, I mean, without Psy Storm, the gateway units don't do that much for Dewalt. Honestly, like, they can fight okay, and he does have good upgrades, so we do have to hand him that. He's going to be up like 2 upgrades in a moment here. But yeah, I think that the snipes were still good enough that we don't look at that and say, oh, what a dumb move, Sziky. Dewalt right now making some more High Templars. There's actually more mutas being made by Sziky as well. So it's interesting to see him get back into those mutas so many times now. This is his 3rd flock of mutas that he's making. So he's going back up to 10. You know, if you're going to mass, like, pretty much nothing but Hydra, and you just keep sniping the High Templars, I guess you'll get to such a number, because here's the thing, right? When you get to, like, a ridiculous amount of Hydras, the Zealots start to evaporate, right? Like, too many ranged units, and Zealots have a hard time. Melee units are kind of tricky like that. That's why you need the Psy Storm, is to really soften those Hydras up, and, you know, the Zealots kind of tank for them for a moment, then really deal out the damage and finish off the damaged Hydras. But if you don't have those Psy Storms, this group of Hydras So much scarier. Now he shows the mutas right there. Shows what his intention is. Dewalt, though, seems like he has enough right now. He is low on workers, though, don't forget. 43 workers, not super high. Sziky actually with a higher supply as far as those workers go, which is going to allow him to make a gigantic army here as well. Don't forget, the Zerg army is almost always more supply efficient than the other armies. So anytime you see supplies close like this, generally Zerg is in the lead. It's like a very easy way to tell who's winning. It's because Hydra's, for instance, 1 supply. Everything here is 2. Uh-oh, we got a little bit of bad pathing there. He's trying to rotate out. Lurkers being rallied up here from Sziky. Getting them into position. Oh, flies and mutas in. Oh my god, Psystorm's going off. He's just picking off anything he can here. Not even sure how many he's going to end up getting. All of them end up dying. Hydra's coming in for the attack. Oh my god, there's no High Templars left. So I guess we do know how many they got. All the High Templars removed at this point. Hydra's coming up to fight. The Lurkers not helping that much. Runs them up as well. Sziky with some killer instinct here. Is he going to be able to actually break through here? It does look like it. More Hydras coming up from the flank. But hold on. The Dark Templar is like one-shotting all of these Lurkers. There's no detection here for Sziky. Oh my god. The Dark Templar, a complete hero from this game. Just absolutely crazy. So hold on. What is actually going on now? So Sziky has the 4 base. He still has like a very good economy. The 1 Dark Templar is not done yet. Definitely wants to go across the map and get some more damage here. Ooh, trying to sneak up into this base. There are a couple Hydras kind of waiting for it there. Hydra's coming down. Looks like Dewalt is thinking about taking this base. Sziky trying to head that off, or maybe just coming in for an attack here. Oh my god, the Psystorm doing such a fantastic job. Pushes him back. I mean, this looks like a containment, but this is not an area to contain. I guess you stop him from expanding here, but honestly, you can just like decide as Dewalt to play around up here, right? You keep units here so he can't bust, because this is a little tiny choke. And I think you're basically good. I'm not sure what this is supposed to do. Like, there's no way as Dewalt you'll ever attack out into this. So you just hit a few units on the edge, pick off a few units here and there. I mean, you could eventually Psystorm and maybe step forward and like kill a Lurker that you Psystorm, something like that. Brings his Observer forward. Maybe not the best engage right there. We don't see any Psystorms as of yet. Another group coming up from the other side. The Storm's not doing all that well. I feel like he's being lured into a fight he does not need to take right there. And Sziky just going to go ahead and GG. He knows he can't break anything. And that means that our man Dewalt going to go ahead and go up 2-0 in this group.